bitch, I'm on the go. I got the money, getting rack addiction. Need that shit for sure, my nigga. I was back up in the trenches, waiting on the go.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Bands by the Bag, and we back with another one. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, subscribe, like, comment. Make sure you tap in because we talk about everything with credit, to leverage credit, business credit, how to make credit make you money, right? So make sure you tap in. I cover everything you need to know about credit. There is no fluff here. We get straight to the point, and everybody joins this channel because they know when it comes to credit, I teach the real, and I don't teach nothing that I don't do myself. You know, a lot of people just recycling information and telling you things that they already seen other people say and not necessarily have went and tried, right? Everything I preach, everything I say, I actually do myself, do my research, see if it works, and if it does work, then I actually put it on my channel. I'm not these people that just come out here and just tell you whatever because I seen another YouTuber or another person mention this information, right? So we're gonna get straight to it, y'all. Y'all already know what y'all here for. We're gonna talk about utilization strategies and how to hide your credit utilization if your utilization is high, so you could go and get some credit cards, you could go get some funding, or you gotta bust a play, whatever you gotta do, right? So with credit utilization, we're gonna talk about a couple strategies that you could use depending on your situation, right? So the number one is if your credit cards is maxed out right now, right? If you have some high credit cards. Remember, credit cards, the limits on your credit cards is 35% of your score. So it is a big amount of your score. So a way to hide your utilization is, remember, when it goes to getting credit cards or it goes to upping your credit score, you want to be at a 10% of your cards want to be at 10%, right? They always say keep your cards at 10%. So I just want to throw we just gonna make numbers up right now, right? If let's say I just have a $300, we're gonna start small. If I have a $300 credit card that is maxed out at $300, so one way you could do to hide your utilization is add a $3,000 trade line onto your credit report, right? So if I add a card that has a $3,000 limit and that limit is not used at all, when I add it onto my credit report, it's gonna put me at 10% and my score is gonna jump. My score is gonna jump more than likely 100 points, maybe 60 points. I can't tell you exactly, but it's definitely gonna put you at that 10% for your credit report. So they would see that you have more available credit than you have credit that that you owe on, right? So that's one way just to hide your utilization. It depends how much credit cards you owe. If you owe a lot of credit cards, you might want to look into debt consolidation. There's like Wells Fargo has a debt consolidation, and I think the National Relief. You could go onto their sites and they'll give you a loan that pays off basically the credit cards, better interest rate, and you pay less back. And you know that hides your utilization also. So that's something if you want to look into if maybe you owe a lot of credit card debt, right? Because you don't want to default on none of this, because then it turns into a collection, and then that's a whole nother process of you trying to get that credit off of your credit report. That's a whole nother process where you out the game. So another one is the statement date trick. So the statement date, a lot of people know that when there's two dates, when you get a minimum date where you got to pay a minimum for your credit card, that's the date where, you know, they say you owe $50 for this $500 card or whatever, you know, whatever the amount is. So that's the minimum date. Technically, you don't have to pay on that date, right? My card could be maxed out for this date. It does not matter. With a real date that you need to ask them, you got to call up your bank. When is the statement date? When do you guys report to the credit bureaus? So usually they're going to tell you, you know, we report this date. When they tell you what date they report, you want to pay at least 3 days before the statement date. So at least when you make that payment, it reports to the credit bureaus paid down. So I had cards that I maxed out, and I called them and made sure what day you guys report. And 3 days before, I paid it down, and it reports to my credit report, the card is paid down and my score jumps. So you don't gotta pay on your minimum day. I know you get those emails, you get those text messages, yo, you gotta make a minimum payment or it's gonna be late. The statement date is what matters. You wanna know what day it reports to the credit bureaus, call up, make sure, and then make that payment right before. Pay the card all the way down if you want the highest jump to your score. So that's really the hack right there. Like, even if you have to pay it down and then use the cards again, you can max them all out. It doesn't really matter because at the statement day, that's when you want to pay them all down so your score could do the max jump, and then you can take that money right back and do what you gotta do. So that's one hack right there if you want your score to jump the highest, because like I said, the utilization is the biggest amount, one of the biggest amounts of your credit score that affects your credit score. So when you do multiple payments like per month, so when you max out your credit card multiple times per month, you want to max it out at least 3 times a month so you could go get that credit limit increase. This is what these banks want to see. So in 3 months to 6 months, depending which bank you have, you want to max it out 3 times each month, and then in those 3 to 6 months you go ask for a credit limit increase, because this shows them that you're really using the credit that you have and you need more credit. So you have to max out the cards. I know a lot of y'all been just paying your minimums, keeping it low. They tell you just get gas, get groceries, and when you go for that credit limit increase, they're not giving it to you. This is why you want to make sure that you're maxing out the credit card and paying it down, and definitely paying it down before the statement date so it reports paid down. But they see that you're maxing the credit out, they're definitely going to get you that credit limit increase. So this is an optimal play right here. Use this strategy to keep your utilization down, and this is going to jump your score tremendously. I guarantee you your score is going to jump if you pay your card down before your statement dates. Even if you got to take the money back out and do what you got to do, just pay it down before the statement dates. Let it report. It usually takes like 3 days for it to hit the credit report. Let it report, and then you could use the credit card. And I'm guaranteeing you this is going to jump your score the fastest. You already know, man. It's Bands by the Bag. Till the next one, we locked in. Let's go.